Hello and welcome to Byju's IAS. UPSC Civil Service Examination is one of the toughest examinations in the country. The examination requires consistency, perseverance, and meticulous planning. In order to help you learn and relearn, structure your plan, and assist you during your journey, we from Team Byju's are conducting Byju's National Scholarship Test, which is scheduled to be conducted on 4th of July 2021. How do you register? Follow the link given in the description box. Identify what the strengths and weaknesses are after giving this particular test, and also seek the assistance from our expert faculty members and mentors so that you can crack this examination and reach the doors of Labasna. Kindly note, this registration closes at 11 a.m. on 3rd of July. Let's get started and look into the first question. Consider the following statements. The nodal ministry in the central government for management of natural disasters is the Ministry of Home Affairs. Disaster Management Act 2005 calls for the establishment of National Disaster Management Authority with the Home Minister as chairperson. Which of the above statements are incorrect? Since it is asking for the incorrect statement, the answer to this is 2 only. Why? That is because the National Disaster Management Authority has the Prime Minister as the chairperson and it is not the Home Minister. Why have we taken this practice question? Because of the reference in this article. Let us try and understand what are the functions of the National Disaster Management Authority. We have the Disaster Management Act of 2005. According to it, we have section 2 of D, which defines what a disaster is. A disaster can be a natural disaster or it can be a man-made disaster. This disaster can be an intentional one, or it can be an accidental one, or it can be a negligent one. When such a disaster occurs in a particular region which causes great grief to the human beings, where there is loss of lives and at the same time there is loss of property, degradation of the environment, where people in that particular locality would not be able to manage it, that is what is defined as disaster under section 2 of the Disaster Management Act. So the Disaster Management Act basically looks at planning, organizing, coordinating and implementing the measures to prevent the disasters from occurring, and even if it occurs, what should be the plan to minimize the impact is what is this Disaster Management Act. According to the Disaster Management Act, we have one of the authorities called as the National Disaster Management Authority. Who is the chairperson? As we just discussed, the chairperson of National Disaster Management Authority will be the Prime Minister and it is not the Home Minister. There will be as many as 9 people who can be nominated by the Prime Minister as the members of this particular authority. What will they basically do? They will try and identify what are the various issues when it comes to the Disaster Management Act. What are the policy initiatives that have to be taken up? They will also give a clear guidelines within which the state governments and the ministries and departments of the central government would be able to formulate rules and regulations for the prevention of disaster. So they give a national plan and at the same time they give a broader framework within which the state governments and the ministries and departments would be able to draft the rules for mitigating the impact of disaster management. So at the national level, the authority which takes care of it is the National Disaster Management Authority. At the state level, what we have is the State Disaster Management Authority, and ultimately at the district level, what we have is the District Disaster Management Authority to mitigate the impact of disaster in a particular region. Now let's look into the next practice question. With reference to Kalbelia dance, which of the following statements are correct? It is a folk dance of Madhya Pradesh. This dance performance is accredited by UNESCO as an intangible heritage. The Kalbelia is almost exclusively performed by females. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is 2 and 3 only. Why? That is because when you look into the first statement, it is not a folk dance of Madhya Pradesh, but instead it is a folk dance of Rajasthan. And yes, the Kalbelia dance is part of UNESCO's intangible cultural heritage list. Kalbelia is almost exclusively performed by the females. So what is this Kalbelia folk dance? This is present in the state of Rajasthan. It is performed by a tribe called as Kalbelia tribe. So there is a tribe called as Kalbelia tribe. The dance performed by them is the Kalbelia dance. Traditionally, these people were engaged in snake catching, and as a result, most of the dance movements that happen in this particular folk dance resemblance that of the serpents. Basically, you would have the men who would play the music and you will have the women who will dance for this particular music. Why have we taken this practice question? Because of the reference in this article. The article also makes a mention of Kathakali. So the part of assignment for today is that you have to read more about Kathakali and put some of the important points which you feel is important from the UPSC preliminary examination point of view. Now let's look into the next practice question. Which of the following have been accorded geographical indication status? Jardalu mango, Hapuz mango, Lakshman Bhog mango, Banganpalli mango, Appe Midi mango. The answer to this is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article makes a mention of number of mangoes. So when we look into the GI tag that has been given to the mangoes, all the 5 have been given the GI tag. Hapuz mango is also called as Alfonso and this is from the state of Maharashtra. Jardalu mango is from the state of Bihar. Lakshman Bhog mango is from the state of West Bengal. Banganpalli mango is from the state of Andhra Pradesh. And as part of assignment, you guys have to put on the comment section which state has this Appe Midi mango. Now let's look into the next practice question. Which of the following statements are correct? Current account deficit may cause depreciation. Current account deficit may be a sign the economy is uncompetitive. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is both. Why have we taken this practice question? Because of the reference in the Hindu article. When we speak about economies, there are two types of economies. One is what is called as the closed economy. The other is what is called as the open economy. What is this closed economy? Let's say there is one of the countries. Let's take the example of North Korea. North Korea does not have much of transactions with the outside world. Its imports are comparatively less. Its exports are comparatively less. It has very less transactions. So such a country which does not have or has not opened up to the global environment, that country is what is called as closed economy. Then we have country called as the open economy where there is exports and imports. Countries do export and at the same time they also import goods from another country. If the exports to a particular country is comparatively less and imports from another country into the home country is comparatively more, that is what will result in called as current account deficit. So what is this current account deficit? Basically, it is a measurement of a country state where the values of goods and services it imports comparatively exceeds the value of product it exports. So when the exports are less and when the imports are great, that is when it results in the current account deficit. When it comes to the trade, there are two types of components. One is what is called as the current account. The other is what is called as the capital account. What is this current account? This basically has exports of goods and services, imports of goods and services. Then we have the invisibles in a particular current component. What is it? It includes services, it includes transfers as well as income. What is the capital account? It includes external assistance, external commercial borrowings, it includes short-term credit, banking capital, foreign investments which include FDI and portfolio investments. Why is this important? Because the components can also be asked in the preliminary examination. Now when we look into the statements, yes, current account deficit may cause depreciation. That is primarily because there is greater demand for the imports and foreign currency. Since there is greater demand for the foreign currency, there might be fall of the currency of that particular country, and at the same time, since there is insufficient capital flows to finance the deficit, this may create depreciation in that country. Second statement says current account deficit may be a sign the economy is uncompetitive where the consumers prefer to buy the cheaper products than buy the domestic goods in that particular country, or there is more of imports from the foreign country. For example, we import a lot of electronic gadgets. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following Bhakti saints: Dadu Dayal, Guru Nanak, Tyagaraj. Who among the above was were preaching when the Lodi dynasty fell and Babur took over? The answer to this is 2 only. Why? For this particular question, we have to know the time period during which this particular process or this event happened. Dadu Jayalji was active from the year 1544 and he passed away in the year 1603. When it comes to Guru Nanak Ji, he was alive from the year 1469 up until 1539. And when it comes to Tyagaraj Ji, he was present in the period of 1767 up until 1847. And when did Babur defeat Ibrahim Lodi? It was in the year 1526. So if you know this timeline, you would be able to answer, and the answer would be 2 only. This happens to be a previous year question from the year 2013. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day for today's discussion is United Nations World Tourism Organization. Why have we taken this topic? Because of the reference in the Hindu. Let's look at some of the important factual data from the preliminary examination point of view. The year of formation was 1974. It is headquartered in Madrid in Spain. And is India a member? Yes, India joined this organization in the year 1975. What are the functions of this organization? There are threefold functions in this organization. First is the economic growth of that particular country. There are different cultural cities. There are also natural resources in that particular country, and there are some beautiful locations in that particular country. Identifying them and showing it to the world and ensuring that that particular region develops over a period of time is the first objective of this organization. As and when there are more people who are entering the tourist sector in this particular region, what will it do? It will make more people part of this tourism sector. So it will dive in the inclusive idea, and ultimately, since more people are occupied in the tourism sector, it will also ensure that the poverty is comparatively reduced over a period of time. So the three objectives of this organization is to ensure there is economic growth, make people part of this economic growth, and ultimately reduce the poverty over a period of time. So this particular organization has paid special attention towards the development of sustainable tourism in small island developing states. It has successfully implemented collaborative actions for sustainable tourism, which is a tourism project in Africa. So kindly remember, this collaborative actions for sustainable tourism was a program of this organization to rejuvenate tourism in Africa. Finally, the United Nations World Tourism Organization publishes one of the rankings called as the World Tourism Ranking. This can be important for the preliminary examination. There is another report which is released by the World Economic Forum. What is it? It is Travel and Tourism Competitiveness Report. So kindly remember, the World Tourism Rankings are given by United Nations World Tourism Organization. The Travel and Tourism Competitive Report is given by the World Economic Forum. So what is this World Tourism Ranking? Basically, this particular organization will identify the number of international visitors to that particular country, expenditures incurred by the travelers, revenue generated because of tourism, and ultimately give this particular ranking on the global economy scale. It is this that we have to understand in reference to United Nations World Tourism Organization. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.